Every Friday because I learn something new every day. I hear a different story, and that's my favorite part, is that there's a story behind every piece we make.
Let's do something different. Like we're always on the fly doing something different.
Does anybody else want to answer? Sure.
So Jordan Dubois, what it means to work here for me is that, I don't know, like, I feel like I perpetuate the culture, and like one of the first questions when you meet someone is like, what do you do? And I always get to say that I work at Spirit Works, and I'm a like apprentice here, a joiner, and I just start talking about culture and what it means and like all the sacred. Like I wear the necklace, the wolf necklace, which means the protector, and it has. I explain like abalone and copper and cedar, all like sacred materials we use to like create these beautiful pieces of art, and I just feel good showing people and like sparking a conversation about culture when they ask me what I do.
Anybody else want to answer? Okay. So, fake Indigenous art, inauthentic Indigenous art, the inauthentic stuff that is sold in stores. Are you familiar with it? Have you seen it?
I'm not really
I consider fake. What I've seen is, let's say, Lululemon or Aritzia or whatever. They blast out those fake Cowichan sweaters. Those are absolutely not made by Aboriginal people, First Nations people. But girls wear them, right? And it's noticeable. You can really tell the fake from the real. You know, you could tell a fake Bentwood box from the real one.
Could you tell me a bit about that? Must have an eye for it. You'd be able to spot it right away.
Like a fake one for sure, you can tell. Like if I walked into a gallery in downtown Vancouver, let's say, I'm not going to name, but if you just go into there, you could see a fake Bentwood box compared to our Bentwood boxes. Like ours, we actually steam here and bend them here, and if you see one, it's just like completely fake to me. Like the design, even if they have a native design on there, the design even is like totally not native. It's not Aboriginal First Nations at all.
How does it make you feel to see those things?
I kind of just I laugh at it, like, oh my God, this is garbage that people are actually buying this, and they're buying it thinking that they're actually getting an authentic Aboriginal product, but they're not. But they don't know that because they're in some gallery that's does have some authentic stuff in there, but like, what do they know? You know, so it's a bit irritating to see stuff like that, for sure.
It was funny.
It's very unsettling.
Sorry, maybe to frame this a little bit. I was in England a few years back, and we were at somebody's house, and he knows that I'm an artist, and he's like, and he was so excited because he was doing construction work in Vancouver. Oh, sorry.
This sounds like a really good story.
Yeah, it's Shane again, but sorry. So yeah, I was at this friend's house in England, up in northern England, and he was doing construction work in Vancouver, so he'd spent some time here, and he was so excited to show me his Indigenous art collection because he was collecting it while he was in Vancouver, and it broke my heart for a number of reasons that not one of the pieces he had was made here. I mean, there was a lot of mahogany, and it was actually carved stuff, but it was a lot of mahogany, and you know, and some of the sort of faux wood sort of stuff. But he was so excited, and I didn't want to break it to him, you know, that it wasn't, and you know, and I mean, it took all I could do not to break it to him because he seemed so happy and pleased with his purchase. But it's really indicative of the fact that people just don't know, right? So, you know, the work that you're doing is probably going to be very, very helpful in distinguishing some of this.
Anybody else? How does the fake stuff affect your livelihoods?
It puts us in competition against China.
Please?
It, like, I don't know. Our stuff is real and more expensive, so they might try to buy, like, the fake stuff. But, like, then we don't sell our stuff, so we kind of lose out on it. But, like, I don't know. It's not good for us, that's for sure.
Anybody else? I should say that if you want to come back to any particular question later, please feel free. What would you like to see done about this?
Tougher laws.
I was just saying more awareness.
Stricter laws for cultural appropriation.
What I would like to see done about this is just more awareness, and I guess what you're doing is more articles, just as much headlines that we can get to say, tourists need to quit coming here and thinking that they're buying something authentic, because it does damage a true carver. If a true carver was trying to carve a big, let's say, sun mask, and then one was made as a knockoff, or the totem poles that are knockoffs, or the Cowichan sweaters. My mother-in-law is a master knitter, and that's damaging to her for her money if she can't sell it because, stores don't want it no more when they can just go get it from a different store as a cheaper knockoff. Yeah, that's how I feel.
Does anybody else help? Obviously from our perspective, being a business, I think a lot of the staff hit a lot of the nails on the head in talking about how we come together. This is an Indigenous business. We follow Indigenous values, which, part of it is trying to get our stories across and our world views and how we, which are really important to revive those. And this, just by virtue of the fact that we have an economic center here for providing jobs and business, means that, I can talk to Jasmine about our stories. It gives us a platform for us to talk about what's going on here, whereas if we didn't have this here, we wouldn't be able to. And that's one of the biggest problems we have with the things coming in from overseas. Like, I'm happy with the business and I'm happy with what we do here and what we've created, but don't be fooled, we don't make a lot of money. If you pick up any one of those pendants over there, and as I said, we use technology. I'm not going to, shy away from the fact we'll use whatever means, we need to compete against things coming in overseas. But if you think about all the work that goes into it on top of the technology, all the polishing and the sanding, the staining, the stringing, the boxing, it goes on and on and on for a piece of jewelry that wholesales for very little, and we have to compete with somebody who's overseas making $1 a day to make Indigenous stuff. We're happy that there is enough awareness that people prefer ours, but it's really hard to compete, when somebody doesn't care. So we really need that. And on top of that, I wanted to say as well, we are a community business. It's not just what we do here and what we create and the environment. We also give back tremendously to the community just as a course of our work. I don't know if I talked to you about the weaving workshops or the workshops we do with kids or the monuments we've produced and gifted to the nation or anything like that. That stuff that we have to do is just to provide our social license within our community. Overseas, they don't have to do any of that, and they won't. They don't care. They don't have an obligation to the communities that that we live in and we work in.
Can you tell me about anything that you're making right now? To give people an example of, for instance, some things that you produce here. You described